What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Twigger coming at you with another high ELO commentary. This one featuring TSM's The Odd One playing Jungle Shen. So it should be a very, very interesting game. I actually got into this game at 1 minute, so 0-0, no CS, absolutely nothing has happened. Only people have purchased items. Sorry that you couldn't see them purchase the items. I did miss that part, but hopefully you guys will enjoy this full-length game and see how The Odd One really jungles Shen. So a very kind of, I find, a complicated jungler, to say the least. He does not have a very fast clear time. His gank potential is very strong, but he does not do a lot of damage, especially in the early game. It's really when he hits level 6 that he starts having a big impact on the game. But then even in the late game, if it gets to that point, he can really utilize that I can't even speak today. That split pushing tactic. But it looks like Aurelia is going to be in a little bit of trouble here. I don't know if the red team is actually planning on going for an invade here. First time I've seen a Rammus in quite some time in the diamond level ranked games. So going to be interesting to see how he plays. He's actually playing, and I actually just noticed this now, he is playing a support Rammus. So when I was kind of organizing the champions down in that little bottom section, I actually didn't know, because there was Gangplank, there was Lee Sin, there was Vlad, and there was Rammus. I could have sworn Rammus was going to be in the jungle. But nope, he's actually going to be playing support with the Vayne. So kind of an interesting choice there. If Rammus can land a taunt after his little roll up, and Vayne should be able to get a pretty easy stun on it. So it looks like the red team's actually going for a bit of an invade here. I don't know if they're really going to get anything out of this. There's nobody with smite here. I guess they're just trying to kind of be dicks. They stun the Odd One against the wall, but he's still going to get a smiteless blue. I guess they just wanted him to take a little bit more damage than he normally would, but with that Vorpal Blade at the very beginning on Jungle Shen, he is able to heal himself up pretty substantially, so the Odd One's not really going to have any problem with that little bit of harassment, I guess. Ram is putting down that pink ward up in the top lane. They want to be very, very safe from that Shen gank. And they might be setting up for something like a level 3 gank from Lee Sin up top at about the 3 minute and 40 second mark has been what kind of the LCS is doing. And just kind of an interesting thing that you saw with that Lee Sin, he did actually manage to avoid the Shen, and he went and warded the wraiths of the Odd One's jungle. So I wonder if you're going to see a little bit of an invade there or something along those lines. The Lee Sin actually did steal the Odd One's red, got that smiteless blue from his team, and then went over and took his red. So Ram is coming over just to give Lee Sin a little bit of a helping hand on his red buff now that he does not have smite, but he is level 3 to the Odd One's level 2. The Odd One just using his smite on those golems. Should be a-okay in the jungle. He's experienced enough. Haven't seen an Aurelia in these ranked games. It's actually kind of a cool game to see champions that you don't kind of normally see. I do know that Fnatic Cyanide played the jungle Gangplank recently in the LCS. I think it was 2 weeks ago or something like that. So I have seen a little bit of Gangplank, but certainly not in this kind of rank. And there's a lot of damage going down on this this duo lane up top. Again, taking a couple too many turret shots and even things out for that Aurelia. But seeing Gangplank as a top lane solo, well, it's currently a bot lane solo, but you get what I'm saying. Haven't seen that in quite some time. Going to be interesting to see what Gangplank can pull out. Maybe some clutch ultimates to kind of counteract that Shen global with their own global. And Vladimir in the mid lane. Don't see Vlad in the mid lane all too frequently. Haven't actually seen Vlad very often in the LCS either. So going to be a very cool game to kind of see things that you don't normally see. Lee Sin is also kind of not fallen off the radar, but a lot of the junglers actually don't believe that he's really good enough right now. There's a lot of other junglers who can do his role just as well and sometimes even better, but the Odd One getting into a little bit of a skirmish with this Lee Sin. I don't think Odd One's going to like this one. The red buff is ticking away on him. He might have to flash out of this one. There's the Q. He does manage to dodge the Q, so actually survives that one. If that Q had landed, it probably would have been good night for Odd One and giving up that first blood. But luckily that does not happen, so Shen sitting at level 3 while that lovely Lee Sin jungle sitting at level 4, so it definitely does have an advantage on our lovely friend the Odd One. But now Rammus is taking so many turret shots, and there's the first blood. What the hell was that? So there's the flash Q from the Aurelia. I don't know what Rammus was doing there. I guess he didn't necessarily think that he was taking turret shots or that he was going to get the aggro, and then he didn't walk back far enough to take the tower aggro off. I don't know what was happening there, but definitely not a great play for this support Rammus. Hopefully they'll be able to pick that one up. But giving the first blood to Irelia, better frickin' nerf Irelia, that's all I can say. And looking in the mid lane, we have seen people like Mandatory Cloud on Team Vulcan play this AP Nid in the mid. Yeah, I know. I am a poet. It actually is incredibly strong, and the poke composition that they're going to have with that Nidalee and the Varus and the Lulu, it's going to be incredibly strong. And they also have great engage with the Shen and with the Irelia, but it looks like Gangplank is kind of teleported into No Man's Land, is now taking a lot of damage, and is just kind of going to be taken out. I don't actually know what he did. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what that was or how he ended up there, but he definitely got caught out. The Vladimir ultimate actually going down onto that Nidalee. I don't know if she's actually going to go down from that one. It does take a lot of damage, but it is not enough to kill him. And then Lee Sin getting caught out again by the same three people. What's going on? It just seems like people are walking into just getting killed. And we're looking at a Vayne now with 3 Doran's Blades. What have I walked into? What have I walked into? It seems like a very, very interesting game. So there's the early dragon for that blue team. It's just under 7 minutes getting that early dragon. 3-0 on kills. 10,400 gold to 7,800 gold for in favor of that blue team. They already have the first turret down of the game in that bottom lane. It's looking very, very good for the Odd One and his team. That's pretty much all you can say about that. Looking at the farm a little bit, the Vayne actually does have a slight advantage on that Varus, but there's also pretty much the same difference between Irelia and that Gangplank really not getting a whole ton of CS, but Irelia going really deep onto this this Vayne. But it doesn't even look like they can 2v1 Irelia right now. She really is popping out so much damage. It's got that Giant's Belt and the Doran Shield, so really preventing a lot of the damage coming out of that Vayne and the Rammus auto attacks. And Irelia just, when she pops her W, getting that bit of true damage, and she actually is maxing that W first, so she's healing and she's doing a lot of damage as well. It's going to be very, very hard to stop her. Lee Sin actually trying his luck at invading here, and doesn't actually even pick up the red buff. I actually believe that Nidalee got that with her pounce. And Lee Sin losing his life, but here's the 3-man gank up top against that Irelia. Gangplank tanking the turret for his team, and they do manage to take her out, so there is a good pickup there for the red team. But here comes the Odd One. Actually does not manage to get that taunt off onto that Rammus. That probably would have been a dead Rammus if that happened. But there's a taunt from the Rammus onto the Odd One, and he does pop his barrier, and they manage to take down the Odd One. So very, very smart play on that Rammus part. I thought he was going to die from that turret dive when he was tanking that turret, because he's really not all that tanky, to be honest. But he manages to pop that barrier just at the right amount of time, so we can take that one more turret shot, which is just enough to seal the deal and seal the fate for the Odd One. So nice pickup for the red team, kind of starting to even things out just a tad. But as all that was going up in the top lane, as successful as that was, the blue team has just gone bottom lane and said, you know what, well, fuck it, we're just going to push your second tier turret. And they're taking a ton of damage down onto this turret. What's it at now? It's under half HP. It's going to be very nerve-wracking for the red team if that turret goes down. They're going to have a lot of control. And the thing about having that Shen, he's not even level 6 yet, but when he hits level 6, they can make that bottom lane engagement a 3 versus whatever comes down their way. It's a very scary thing to think of all the possibilities with that Shen of how you can split push or how you want to play things out. But the Lulu finding the Ram is going to taunt the Lulu. And the Vayne has now come in. It looks like we're going to have a bot lane engagement here. The cleanse coming down from the Varus, making sure you can get out of that stun. But the Nidalee has come down for this Vayne and the Rammus. Rammus is just going to run away from this one, leaving Vayne completely defenseless. The piercing arrow from the Varus actually takes down that Vayne. Going to jump over the wall from that Nidalee. Is the red buff going to be enough to slow Rammus down, enough to kill him? The spear actually missing, so I don't think Nidalee's going to be able to catch up to this one. But the Powerball is going to end eventually, but Nidalee's Cougar form will last forever, so might actually be able to catch up to that Rammus. But apparently we're going to watch the top lane, because apparently this is where the computer thinks the action is. And oh my god, what a spear! What a spear! I can't believe he actually walked back into that one. So he actually did not manage to catch up to that Rammus. Got kind of chased away from that gang. It wasn't the Gangplank. It was, I think, the Vladimir in that mid lane. Managed to scare that Nidalee off and started walking away and hitting a clutch spear to take him out from a very, very long ways away. Great, great play on that Nidalee's part to kind of chase that one down. 6-2. with a 4,000 gold lead at 10 minutes and 30 seconds. This is really blue team's game to lose here. Don't really know how red team is planning on coming back from that one, but the Gangplank ultimate is out. I don't know where he actually launched that. So he launched it at the Aurelia to kind of clear out that lane. I don't really see what that did. Apparently she's going to have to tank the creeps. And as we all know, for an Aurelia with the Doran Shield and the Giant's Belt, it is tough to tank up those creeps. Sucks to be Aurelia, I guess. Great spear actually going through the minions to hit that Vladimir. Those spears do so much damage. And it's one thing I love about casting AP Nid games, is just watching those spears go. And there's another spear actually being dodged from the Vladimir, so it doesn't look like they're really going to be able to chase this one down. The minion actually picking up the Nid trap. A little bit of extra damage, what can you say? And here comes Nidalee throwing another spear, missing that one as well. And it looks like they're just going to 4-man push this turret. I don't know how red team plans on stopping this one. The Ram is actually coming in and taunting the Nidalee, but there's the Shen ult and the Lulu ult onto Nidalee. Not going to do any damage to her. She's going to be completely fine. Another spear coming out to hit that Rammus, and the piercing arrow doing so much damage to Rammus, sitting at just like 1/8 of his health. Great taunt from the OddOne to get both Lee Sin and Gangplank. The kick coming out onto Nidalee to kill her from the Vayne, pinning her up against the turret. And there's actually double kill for the Vayne. Looks like they're going to chase down onto this Lulu, but the Varus is still alive, and Vladimir is at no health left. One more auto attack from the Vayne, from the Varus, sorry, but it's not going to happen. He's very scared of the damage coming out of that Gangplank and the Vayne especially. But Vladimir's backing in a kind of a bad spot. If they decide to run up here a little bit, they might be able to take him down. But nope, he is going to get back to his base. Gangplank and Vayne just kind of sit here and see how this thing all goes. Gangplank is now sitting a little bit low. Both of these guys are just so low, but Varus does have that blue buff, so there's the big advantage for the blue team. So here it comes, there's the arrow, oh boy, the heal actually, it's actually the trap that picks it up. So the heal actually coming out from the Vayne to save her life from the piercing arrow, which was a very clutch play, but she happened to step over the Nidalee trap. And Nidalee once again making a clutch play, just having that trap there to pick up that Vayne kill. Pretty awesome there. So Vayne probably being a little bit sour after that play, and I really just sitting up here and farming. So taking a little bit of a look at the CS. The CS is actually kind of turned in favor of the red team in a couple of these lanes, but I'm not going to talk about that yet because the Ignite is down onto the Rammus. The Gangplank ultimate comes out to try to take down this Aurelia, but Aurelia is going to actually flash out of that one and not pursue the Rammus. He was, I think, trying to barrier bait her into diving that turret. But here comes the Powerball from the Rammus. He will be able to take a couple of these turret shots, but it's not going to be enough. That barrier does go down in about one turret shot, and then the second turret shot was enough to take him out. So the barrier not exactly a exact science, to say the least, on those turret dives with the Rammus. Really not paying off overly well right now. He's sitting at 0-3-2. Support Rammus may not be the most viable thing in the world. It was a very cool idea, but currently not doing the greatest for his team. But the CS has kind of favored in a couple lanes, so 95-71 now for that Vladimir, and it's very even now in the ADC category. 88 for Varus to 88 of Vayne, but the big difference is lying in that top lane. 84 for Aurelia to 47 of Gangplank. Gangplank's actually had to go on for that Philo Stone. I don't know if it's necessary just to build an item, which he very well could, being a Gangplank, building into something like the Shirelias, but my thoughts are that he realizes how far behind in CS he is, and he needs to try to get some gains in the money department so he can actually stack towards the late game. And hopefully that works out for him, but he does have that Kindle Gem, which looks like later on he might be building towards that Shirelia's Reverie for his team. But Lee Sin and Gangplank both on this Aurelia now, but look at how much damage she's doing. Not really caring, just 2v1ing these melee champions of the red team. And I don't know if they're going to have enough to actually take down this Aurelia. I think she's going to double kill them. And there's the one kill onto the Lee Sin, and she gets the red buff from the Lee Sin and manages to pick up the double kill onto the Gangplank. So Aurelia is just so strong, and whatever that name is doing a very good job on that Aurelia top lane. And the Vladimir ultimate comes out. The OddOne actually misses his taunt, but has to pop that. Oh, and it was actually enough damage to go through the OddOne's ultimate. That shield apparently was just not enough, but a great stun coming out onto that Lulu from the Vayne, and it looks like they might actually get a double kill here, and Varus is not able to pick up that Rammus either, so a double kill for the Vayne for nothing. Very good play on the bot lane's part. Vayne is one of those champions that, as the majority of you know, is a hyper carry in the late game. So she's the one on your team getting the kills, which she is, sitting at 5, 2, and 1. Already got that static shiv and sitting with those 3 Doran's Blades. She's going to be very, very scary in the late game. But the thing is, with somebody like a Vayne, and now look at the damage going down onto this Gangplank, and Irelia is just tanking the turret. Like, not a single fuck is given right now from this Irelia. Just going to tank up this Gangplank, sit in his ultimate, why not, right? Just going to Q to him and kill him anyways, no big deal. Level 12 to the level 9 Gangplank. Absolutely incredible play currently from this Irelia, sitting at 112 CS, 5-1-0, really, really good play. But one of the things to note, well, Rammus is coming in now for this Irelia. Vladimir is taking up the rear, and he did ghost into this one, so he might actually be able to pick this one up, but maybe not before. No, actually Rammus is going to survive. He is always just sitting on a tiny sliver of health before he gets out of those ones. But they did manage to pick up that killing spree bonus, so 500 gold going towards, I believe it was the Vladimir who picked that one up. Am I right? Tekshi is... No, it was Rammus. So Rammus picking up that 500 gold. Perfect. Right? That's who you want it on, right? Not really sure that that's the best thing, but Vayne walking into a trap here from this Nidalee. Actually walks into the trap as well. Going to jump out and actually put a spear onto the Vayne, but so much damage coming out just from that little burst of the Nidalee. Oh, jeez, that spear nearly hit her. Taunt coming down from the Rammus onto the Nidalee, but the Lulu ultimate coming down to keep her alive for a little bit longer, but Mr. Impossible on that Vayne is currently impossible to kill, and manages to pick up another kill, 6-2-1, and the taunt actually gets onto the Varus, and Varus is going to lose his life here as well. Lee Sin picking up that kill, his first of the game, sitting with 4 deaths and 3 assists. Vayne is picking up a lot of kills, and it's very, very scary, because she is just going to be able to melt people on this blue team. The one good solace, I guess the one solace of this blue team is that Irelia is so fed as well, and that's the kind of champion that you need those kills on if you want to deal with that late game Vayne. And it's actually looking like Lulu's going to flash out of that one, so it does manage to escape it. But the champion that you want all the kills on is going to be somebody like that Irelia, who's going to be able to dive in through that front line to get to the Vayne and take her out. So hopefully they'll be able to pull that one off when it comes to the late game. But right now the Odd One taking a lot of damage. The Vladimir pool is out with the ultimate. Not going to be enough damage to take down the Odd One. The Odd One's ultimate is not up right now, but there's a flash actually from the Odd One missing the taunt onto the Rammus. Rammus is just going to powerball out of there like a sir. So flash kind of wasted from the Odd One there, but there's the ultimate from the Irelia. She's now making a big impact on this game. Trying to take the team fight in her own hands and turn it towards her team's favor. But it doesn't look like they're going to be able to make anything out of this one. The Varus ultimate is down, but now the Odd One does have his ultimate up, and we're just waiting a couple more seconds on the Lulu ultimate, and then we might see something happen. They might try to force something here. The Nidalee going in and actually trying to take the red team's blue buff. Looks like Rammus is going to put a ward over there to see this Nidalee taking it down. And Nidalee does pick that one up, so very good pickup from the blue team, taking every advantage that they can. But we're still sitting with about a 4k gold lead. As much as the red team has been able to pick things up and start gaining some kills and gaining a little bit of ground, they really aren't, because they've only managed to make up about a couple hundred gold worth of ground, where it's still very much in the favor of this blue team with 4 turrets to the 3, getting that little bit of extra gold with the dragon. It's just adding to their favor, and Gangplank has not increased his CS nearly at all. 136 for Irelia, playing very, very well, to the 55 of the Gangplank. That's just it. You can't really deal with that if you just want to look at the top laner gold here. 7.4k to 4.8k. Just a world of difference in those top laners. Gangplank's not really going to have the biggest effect on the game, where Irelia can solo every single person pretty much on. I haven't seen her solo Vayne yet, but can pretty much solo and duo the majority of the red team, as we saw with Gangplank and Lee Sin up in that top lane. So going to be interesting to see how this red team pulls out all the stops to try to pull out a win in this one, but right now it's not looking overly good, but they have been taking a couple more objectives. They are going to try to force this dragon. Irelia is coming down from the top lane, so if they start seeing this Irelia, they are not going to want to be there. They do manage to pick up the dragon, but Rammus is now taking a lot of damage. The taunt actually from Shen bringing him back into the team. The Lulu ult is onto that Shen. He wants to get out of there so he can cast his ultimate, which he does cast his ultimate onto the Irelia. Irelia jumping into the backline, but it's not going to be enough to kill Vayne or that Rammus. And now a lot of damage going onto the Gangplank. He manages to go down. Now the Vladimir's going to go down as well from that Nidalee. I don't know if they're going to be able to chase down to get any more. The Lee Sin is a little bit further out, but I don't think Irelia is going to want to dive that one under the turret with the Rammus and the Vayne still being alive. Sorry to cough a little bit there. Don't know what is going on with my throat. But now they're going to 5-man push this second tier turret. They are definitely going to take this one down. Now whether or not they're going to push on to try to take that inhibitor turret, it looks like they're very content at going for this inhibitor turret. Vayne Varus taking a couple hits from that turret to let his team start stacking up on it. But the Irelia actually getting taunted into turret range. The OddOne taking a couple turret hits, getting him a little bit low. I think they're going to need to back away from this one because now we do have the Gangplank up and the Vladimir just came up as well. The Rammus is powerballing, maybe trying to make something happen here. But he's still not overly tanky. So he's not one of those jungle Rammuses who can kind of run into the enemy team and not really worry about dying. The enemy team is certainly able to burst him down before he really, because what Rammus is really going to want to do is kind of knock everybody and then grab that Varus or that Lulu or really that Nidalee and bring them into his team so that way they can just burst the main damage dealers down. But they can burst Rammus down really before he catches anybody. But it looks like sneaky buggers. They're going for this early Baron. So 22 minutes into the game, they're going to try their luck at the Baron, even being behind 4,000 gold. Rammus is going to be up in the mid lane trying to get these guys' attention, make sure that they don't go and check this Baron. And it looks like they're actually going to pick up the Baron. The smite coming down from the Lee Sin, and they do pick it up. They're actually going to start an engagement now. The Shen taunt coming out, picking up Vladimir and the Gangplank. Vladimir having to cast this pool. He was very low. Looks like the Gangplank is going to go down from that Nidalee, but the OddOne going down from the Vayne. Nidalee's going to flash and actually pick up that kill onto the Vladimir. There's a double kill for the Nidalee, but Irelia is coming up and following through the rear. Going to try to take down this Lee Sin. Lee Sin actually kicks Irelia over the Baron pit. Very good play. Puts that ward down over the red pit and does manage to get over that with the safeguard, but Varus is now chasing down. He does have that red buff, and the Lulu slow is going to help him out a lot. There's another proc of the red buff, and it actually is going to be enough to take down that Lee Sin. And give me 2 seconds because I'm going to cough my ass off because I can't breathe. There we go. I think I'm better. I've been sick a little bit this week, and talking this long is actually a little bit harder than you might think. And the Nidalee Spear actually poking onto that Vayne, taking a ton of damage. Definitely another position you want to be in as that AD carry, taking a big spear to the face. But very nice play actually from that red team, going for that sneaky Baron and managing to pick it up without a hitch until they got engaged on. Well, they actually, you know, that's kind of the thing. They didn't really get engaged on. Gangplank's ultimate went down, and the entire red team decided to engage on that blue team. I don't really think that that was actually the smart idea there, because as we kind of saw, Vladimir was almost at half HP, Gangplank was almost at half HP, and they decided to engage on a team that is, well, was probably 5,000 gold ahead of them. It just didn't seem like the appropriate call there. Even though you have Baron buff, it doesn't make up for the amount of items that the blue team actually has over you. So looking at, I just want to kind of comment on the Irelia's items here. Actually going for that Zephyr very quickly. A very interesting item. I know that Chaox, the former AD carry for TSM, used to do the Zephyr as kind of like an endgame last-ditch item where you fully built your AD carry, and now you might as well sell your boots and pick up the Zephyr because you don't really lose much of any movement speed, and you pick up quite a few little extra stats just to make you that little bit stronger, to put you over the other AD carry of the opposing team. But I really kind of opting to get that quite early with that Sunfire Cape, and now with the recurve bow, she is very tanky and attacking very fast with her Berserker Greaves as well. So kind of a different Irelia build that I've been seeing. So really kind of going for that aggressive but also tanky. You kind of got that from Season 2 when people like Stanley would play. Well, actually Stanley didn't really play it, but like Wicked's Irelia, rushing something like a Trinity Force was really how you built that damage Irelia. But you never really see Irelia in the LCS or in competitive play anymore. Wicked has kind of said that she's... there are just people that do better than Irelia, especially considering in the LCS how many 2v1s happen for those top laners. Irelia not being the best 2v1er, unless she gets a very early first blood on a Rammus support who ends up diving the turret a little bit too far, then you might be able to pull the Irelia card. But she is kind of building this kind of hybrid damage tank, and it's doing very, very well for her, sitting at 623 with 164 minions. Can't really complain about how that one's going. So the OddOne going back to town, picking up his Giant's Belt. He also has that Sunfire Cape. And a lot of people kind of forget how much damage the Sunfire Cape actually does. It's not a ton by itself, 40 magic damage per second to nearby enemies. But now you have to think that when you have two people with those Sunfire Capes who are going to be on your entire back squishy line, you're doing 80 damage per second, and you're not really casting any abilities. You're just standing by the enemy team. So on somebody like a Vayne, if you're both going to be on there, a lot of damage actually going down onto this Irelia. She's trying to take down the Vayne, but it's actually not going to be enough. Is the Ignite tick going to be enough? The Ignite is not going to be enough to take down the Vayne. And there's two kind of free kills there on the Varus and the Irelia. Really not the best play. Irelia just kind of diving into 4 people or 5 people and trying to take down that Vayne. And was not enough to kill her. Just kind of wasting her life there. But to each their own, right? I guess she thought that that was going to be a good decision, that she might be able to burst Vayne down. But I don't really know what her escape tactic was going to be. Even if she did manage to take Vayne down, she did have her flash up, but I don't know how you're going to outrun that great amount of damage going onto that Vlad from that long-range Nidalee spear from the river. He's going to have to back up because pretty much one shot from Lulu is going to kill him now. The Vayne actually now chasing down onto the OddOne, and Rammus is coming down now. Is the taunt going to land? The flash coming down from the Shen. The taunt does land onto the OddOne. Then the Vayne is going to actually, no, it was the Rammus who's going to actually take down Shen. But a lot of damage coming down onto the Lee Sin from the turret. And, wow! The damage coming down from Nidalee. I keep on saying the damage coming down. I should probably just stop saying that. A lot of damage coming out from that Nidalee in that Cougar form. She does have the Morellonomicon and that Death Cap. So it's going to be quite a bit of damage. As Freak would say, tons of damage. But that does really only apply to the Trinity Force. So we will not say that in this moment. The Varus actually he is waiting for his ultimate, so I don't really think that this is going to be a great engagement for them to stick around in. Vayne doing so much damage to that Lulu. The ultimate from Lulu not going to do a damn thing for that Vayne. 199 CS for the Vayne, and I don't think the Dragon is actually being enough to kill Rammus, but did take him very, very low after that Nidalee spear to the face. And the red team is just starting to pick up small objectives and kills here and there that are actually starting to bring them back up in the gold. So 45.5k to 41.7k, they are starting to narrow that gold lead down a little bit. The blue team really has to kind of group up and start figuring out what they want to do to start closing this game out, because if they keep playing the way that they're playing, Vayne is getting so strong that it's going to be very, very difficult to fight this enemy team. And surprisingly, the Gangplank has actually started to make a little bit of farm, so he's sitting at 110 CS now. Now, the Irelia has still managed to stay very, very far ahead of him, sitting at 190. But Gangplank is now getting some farm, does have that Last Whisperer and his Boots of Lucidity with the Zeke's Herald. So the Zeke's Herald really going to be helping that Vayne, and also the Lee Sin and himself. But that Last Whisper is going to be doing a little bit of damage with his parlays. And now the Shen ultimate going down onto the Irelia. They're going to really try to engage on this one, but Vayne not actually being taken down yet. Nidalee's actually going to chase down onto him. The Gangplank ultimate going down, and the Vlad had to pull to try to get out of that one. The Nidalee dies trying to chase down that Vayne. It's not enough to kill her. And Rammus just doing work kind of in the middle of the seam. He is at that tanky point where he can just be this absolute nuisance while doing damage. The Lulu ultimate going down onto the Irelia, trying to keep her alive for as long as possible, realizing that she is the real damage dealer of this blue team. And they just keep knocking Irelia away. But there's a flash engage back onto that Vladimir, but Vladimir's just going to pull away. Irelia actually picking up that Gangplank, and the Varus actually picking up the Rammus. I don't know if they're actually going to have enough, but the Q actually coming down and managing to pick up the Vladimir. They're now onto the Vayne. The taunt coming down from Shen, and they pick up the Vayne as well. The double kill for the Varus. That was exactly the type of fight that they wanted to re-engage on. They didn't lose another person, which was perfect. It was actually a perfect re-engage. The flash was definitely not wasted from that Irelia managing to pick up a whole bunch more kills. So really turning that fight into their favor. And that's the thing, if Shen can manage to taunt up that Vayne and Irelia to stun that Vayne as well, they should be able to take her down. What you just cannot have is Vayne kind of running rampant, because she will be able to take down pretty much every single member of this blue team. But it looks like the blue team is pinging on the Baron. This is one of those risky calls where they do not know if there's any wards. They do know now that there's no wards on the Baron because they do have all of those pink wards sitting around the Baron brush, but there actually is one in that banana brush, and Rammus is now just going to pink the pink and take down this ward, and Lulu just putting 2 wards down, I guess, to delay them for a little bit, and Rammus is coming in here for a little bit of a jungle invade, not going to pick anything up, and they is really wanting to go in on this Rammus, but the entire red team is heading down. A great taunt going on to the Rammus and to the Gangplank. The Gangplank ultimate, they are fighting him right now, and Vayne managing to take down the Odd One very, very quickly. And now the Vayne is in quite a bit of trouble. She's being chased down by a lot, but here comes the Varus. His ultimate did get used and actually hit a great ultimate there, but they have not taken down this Vayne yet. She's just doing work on the entire team. There's the Varus being killed by the Lee Sin, picking that one up. And Nilly is now just kind of in no man's land because there are a lot of champions around her, and I don't know how she's going to escape this one. But there's a couple clutch spears, one hitting Lee Sin, and now Baron is a little bit more risky. And there's another one. Oh my god, the Baron actually taking down Gangplank. Man, I am loving watching this Nidalee. She is just getting these amazingly clutch plays. They've been really, really awesome. So, managing to hit that Gangplank with a sweet, sweet spear, and then the Baron actually killing Gangplank. So, very, very funny. Here comes another spear. Not hitting anybody. But now they're kind of in purgatory. Vayne is going to try to chase away this Nidalee because Nidalee's not going to be able to 1v1 Vayne. But the enemy team is definitely going to have to get out of there because the Nidalee poke is starting to become a real nuisance. And if Lee Sin or Vayne take another... You know what? Vayne is actually quite low too, but it doesn't look like Nidalee's going to be looking for a fight here. I cannot... I'm still kind of in awe about that Gangplank kill. That was a very, very sweet kill. And now blue team is seeing this as a bit of a chance for them to go in onto this Baron. The Gangplank ultimate did go off. Looks like he's probably going to be shooting that towards the Baron. Yep, just kind of dissuade these guys as much as they can. The home guard boots on a lot of the red team to try to get here as quickly as possible, but they are just melting this Baron, and they do not have a smite available. Lee Sin is still very far behind, and now they're going to start the engagement. Nidalee taking down that Rammus, so the tank is pretty much gone from this team. Looks like the red team is going to have to try to disengage, but there's a great Lulu ultimate onto the Irelia after the kick, managing to knock up the Vayne as well. There goes the Gangplank, and there goes the Vayne, and it looks like the Zhonya's is going to last for only a certain amount of time, and there goes the Vladimir as well. The double kill coming out from the Nidalee. And it looks like they're going to try to push up for the win here. They have 26 seconds until Rammus comes up, but 40 seconds until the real damage threat Vayne is back up. I really think they're just going to be able to tank this one for the win because they already have super minions on the Nexus turrets. I really don't think there's anything that the red team can do from this one. It's about a 10k gold lead nearly for the blue team. That fight really sealed the deal for them. And those Nidalee pokes were exactly what did it, keeping those guys in that little area, taking down that Gangplank, and then keeping Lee Sin in that area for so long. So when he actually returned to base, when they managed to get to Baron, the Lee Sin was nowhere to be found, so they didn't even have a smite battle for that Baron. There was no way they was going to be able to there was no way they were going to be able to steal that Baron. That was what I was trying to say. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. I'm very glad that the Odd One managed to win that one. He was 1-5-14. So, not managing to really carry that game, but playing that support jungle Shen, which everybody loves, managing to help his team a lot, managing to land some very clutch taunts, and some great play from that Nidalee and the Irelia, really giving a little tutorial about how to play both of those champions, one in the mid lane and one in the top lane. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that one, and I will see you guys in the next high ELO commentary.